On a battlefield where silence can mean survival, one quiet medic hid a secret training so rare it stunned even the Navy SEALs. When the wounded fell and hope was gone, her hands revealed what no one expected. This is the untold story of Mia, wounded, silent, yet unbreakable. Mia arrived at the forward operating base before dawn. The desert air was dry, and dust clung to her boots as if the land itself wanted to weigh her down. She kept her head low, her uniform clean but plain. No patches, no marks that made her stand out. Just another medic, or so it seemed. She carried a small bag with the essentials. Inside, tucked into the side pocket, was an old watch with a cracked face. It no longer worked, the hands frozen at 2:17. She never threw it away. It wasn't timekeeping she needed from it. It was memory. The base buzzed with early morning routines. Soldiers ran laps, voices carried from the mess hall. Helicopters stirred the sky, but Mia slipped through unnoticed. She wanted it that way. Silence was her shield. The chief medic introduced her briefly at the morning briefing. No one paid much attention. New recruits came often. Some were eager, loud, trying to prove themselves. Mia was neither. She answered in short sentences, her tone soft, her eyes sharp but withdrawn. The days passed in a rhythm. She treated small injuries, twisted ankles, cuts, burns from careless moments. She filed reports with care. She blended into the background. The others laughed in groups, swapped stories, boasted of past battles. Mia listened but said little. Sometimes a polite nod, sometimes nothing at all. One man noticed. Staff Sergeant Cole, a SEAL medic hardened by 12 years of deployments. He had seen every type, the loud, the cocky, the haunted. Mia didn't fit. Her silence wasn't fear. It was something else, something guarded. One evening, as they restocked supplies, Cole asked, "Where'd you train?" She hesitated, placing gauze into a drawer with deliberate care. Basic, then medical training. Requested deployment. Any reason? He pressed. Mia shrugged, not meeting his gaze. Seemed like good experience. Her answers ended conversations. But her eyes told more. Eyes that avoided connection yet carried a weight older than her years. The base was no stranger to violence. Injured soldiers came in often, sometimes civilians, sometimes even enemies. Mia handled them all the same. Calm, steady, detached, yet not unkind. Her touch was gentle, but her presence distant. One night she sat with a young soldier barely 20. He had survived his first firefight and was broken with fear. "I froze," he whispered. "My buddies covered me. I don't think I can go back." Mia looked at him, her voice low. "Fear means you're alive. The brave feel it too. They just keep moving," he asked. "Have you ever been that scared?" She paused for so long he thought she wouldn't answer. Finally, "Yes, more than you can imagine." Her words carried a weight that silenced him. For a moment he saw something in her eyes, the shadow of someone who had seen too much. Before he could ask, she stood and walked away. That night she placed the broken watch on her bunk. Its cracked glass reflected the dim light. She traced the frozen hands with her finger, whispering something only she could hear. At 0300, the explosion shook the ground. The alarms screamed. Helicopters roared. Voices shouted, "Mass casualties incoming." Mia grabbed her gear. Her watch stayed behind, frozen at 2:17, and as the first helicopters landed, blood and chaos flooding the bay, all eyes turned to the quiet medic no one knew. The trauma bay shook with urgency. Voices clashed, hands moved, machines beeped. Soldiers groaned, civilians screamed, medics scrambled. It was chaos wrapped in urgency. A man in his 30s, shrapnel tearing his chest, suddenly went flatline. The medic pumping his chest cried out, "We're losing him. I need advanced support." Dr. Patel was in surgery. Cole was tied up with another critical patient. The room froze for a beat. That's when Mia spoke. "I'll take over." Her voice cut the noise, calm, solid, authoritative. No one moved. She didn't wait. She slid into position, her hands steady, her movements sharp with precision. Epinephrine, atropine, airway kit, now. The others scrambled. Mia's hands moved in ways most had only read about in textbooks. Advanced cardiac procedures, rare techniques, combat-level improvisation. She worked as if she had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. Not a hint of hesitation. Cole stared from across the room, his patient stable but his eyes fixed on her. He had seen those procedures before, but only in the hands of elite special operations medics, and even then rarely done so perfectly. Minutes stretched into eternity. The monitor beeped, dead flatline, then a flicker. A weak rhythm. Then steady. He's back, Mia said softly. Get him to surgery. The room fell into silence. Every medic, every nurse, even the surgeon stepping out of the bay stared at her. Mia stepped back, her shoulders shrinking again, her voice fading. He's stable. That's all. The confidence melted, leaving the quiet shadow again. Cole's mouth went dry. He had seen what no one else could explain. She wasn't just trained. She was conditioned. The next morning, word spread across the base. Stories warped, details blurred. But one thing was clear. The silent medic had saved a life no one else could have saved. During briefing, the commander gave her special mention. The room clapped. Mia lowered her head, uncomfortable, almost ashamed. Afterward, Cole cornered her. Where did you learn that? That wasn't textbook. That was black-level training. She avoided his gaze, folding bandages neatly. Advanced training. Don't play me, Mia, that's SEAL-level stuff. I've seen it. Her hands paused, shoulders tense. Then softly, sometimes it's safer if people don't know everything. She walked away, leaving Cole with questions burning in his chest. That night, Mia sat on her bunk pulling out her wallet. Empty. Always empty. She carried it anyway. Once it had been full of photos. Faces she had erased. She closed her eyes, clutching it to her chest. Memories pressed in heavy, unwanted. Then the sirens screamed again. The helicopter blades tore the sky. Cole sat opposite Mia, scanning her face. For the first time, he saw her hands tremble. Just slightly, she clutched her medkit tighter. The broken watch remained back in her quarters, but its weight followed her. The empty wallet rested in her pocket. The pilot's voice cracked through. Hot zone. Enemy presence. Limited landing time. They touched down on a dusty road. Smoke rose from burning vehicles. Wounded soldiers crawled behind wreckage. Gunfire echoed in the distance. Cole led. Mia and Davis followed. Blood painted the ground. 7 wounded. 1 critical. Cole knelt beside a young sergeant, unconscious, bleeding out fast. He won't make it without surgery. His voice was tight. Mia's eyes scanned him. She knew. But her lips whispered, I can't. Cole's eyes burned into hers. If you don't, he dies. Whatever you're hiding, it's time. The rumble of enemy vehicles grew louder. The wounded moaned. Gunfire snapped closer. Mia's chest tightened. She closed her eyes, her mind flooding with memories she had buried. A room full of men, blood, smoke, screams. A broken watch stopped at 2:17. She opened her eyes. The fear remained, but something else hardened beneath it. Resolve. Her voice dropped steady. Keep them off me. What happens here stays here. Cole nodded. Mia's hands moved. Swift. Precise. She performed battlefield surgery on the dusty road, bullets cutting the air. Her hands did what few surgeons could do in clean rooms, let alone under fire. Cole covered her, watching in awe. She wasn't just skilled, she was transformed. Minutes later, the sergeant's vitals stabilized. Against impossible odds, he would live. The gunfire ceased. Enemy retreat. Evac helicopter inbound. Mia sat back, her face pale but calm. The others looked at her like she was something unreal. On the flight back, she kept her eyes on the sergeant's vitals. Cole didn't stop staring at her. When they landed, she disappeared. Cole found her later in the chapel, the empty wallet beside her on the bench. Her whisper broke the silence. 3 years ago, I was a SEAL team medic. They all died. Every single one. I couldn't save them. Cole froze. The chapel smelled of old wood and dust. Mia's voice cracked as she spoke, her eyes fixed on the dim light above the altar. They were my family. 8 men. I kept them alive through fire and steel, until the day the sky fell on us. Cole sat still, letting her speak. It was a trap. False intel. We walked into 50 fighters waiting. I patched wounds as bullets tore through us. I thought maybe I could keep them alive. But then the airstrike came. They called it on our position. I stayed with them until the last second. And then, her hand touched the empty wallet. When I woke, I was under rubble. Alive, alone, everything I loved burned away. Tears slipped down her face, but her voice hardened. They gave me medals. Called me a hero. But I know the truth. I failed them. Cole's throat tightened. You didn't fail. You survived the impossible. Her hands shook. If I hadn't failed, they'd be alive. That's why I hide. If I never use those skills again, maybe no one else will die because of me. He leaned closer. But Mia, you saved lives here. You saved them because you didn't hide. Her eyes locked on him, filled with terror and longing. What if I fail again? The chapel fell silent. The broken watch wasn't with her, but in Cole's mind he saw its frozen hands. A moment trapped forever. Before he could answer, the doors opened. Dr. Patel stood there, his face stern. Martinez. My office, now. Mia rose, clutching her wallet, her shoulders tense. She walked into the commander's office, knowing her secret was no longer hers. Dr. Patel leaned forward across his desk. His voice was calm, but it carried steel. Your file says basic training, then medic school. But what I saw yesterday, what everyone saw, it doesn't match. Mia sat rigid, her hands folded tight. I'm not here to punish you, Patel continued, but I am responsible for every life on this base. And if you're hiding advanced training, I need to know. Her chest rose and fell. Then she whispered, I was SEAL Team Medical Officer. 2 years. Advanced combat surgery. Trauma care. Battlefield stabilization. Patel sat back, absorbing her words. Why hide it? Mia's voice cracked. Because the last time I used those skills, they all died. She told him the story. The ambush. The rubble. The medals she hated. Patel listened, his expression softening. When she finished, he said gently, hiding doesn't honor them. Saving lives does, his words struck deep. She had never seen it that way. That evening, whispers spread. Mia didn't confirm or deny. She stayed quiet, but the silence carried less weight now. Nurse Daniels approached her. You could teach us, even just a little. Your skills, they could save dozens more. The thought terrified Mia, but also intrigued her. That night, she sat again in the chapel. Cole found her. They want you to lead training, he said. Her heart raced. What if I teach them wrong? What if my failure spreads? Cole shook his head. Or what if they live because of what you teach? What if that broken watch you keep isn't a reminder of failure, but of why you fight to keep others alive? Mia stared at him, the frozen hands flashing in her mind. For the first time, she wondered if he was right. But before she could answer, the base sirens wailed again. Another attack. Another test. The base shook under mortar fire. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered. The night turned into chaos. Mia grabbed her kit and ran. Soldiers rushed past her. Orders flew in every direction. The sound of helicopters mixed with explosions in the distance. In the trauma bay, stretchers lined the floor. Blood already pooling. Groans filling the air. The smell of smoke and iron. Dr. Patel shouted triage commands. Cole locked eyes with Mia. She didn't flinch. She moved with purpose, her fear sealed behind walls. Her hands worked fast, bandages, tourniquets, IV lines. But then she saw him. A young soldier lay on the dusty floor, chest barely rising. His uniform torn, his pulse fading. His hand clutched something. An empty wallet, edges burnt, photo missing. His eyes searched hers, begging silently. Her breath caught. The memory slammed back. 8 men. Burning rubble. Frozen watch at 2:17, she knelt. Stay with me, she whispered. Cole hovered. He needs advanced care. Can you? I know. Her voice cut him off. She opened the soldier's chest with swift, practiced movements. The room gasped. No hesitation. No permission. Just action. Bullets cracked outside. The building shook again. But Mia's world narrowed to the wound in front of her. She worked with surgical precision, saving a life that most surgeons wouldn't attempt outside an operating room. Her gloves dripped crimson, her face pale but steady. The monitor beeped. A faint rhythm. Then stronger. He's back, she said, almost to herself. Relief washed over her face for just a moment. Cole's voice was rough. You just saved him again. But not everyone in the room looked at her with admiration. A colonel in the corner, face shadowed, whispered something into a radio. Watching her too closely, Mia felt it. Eyes that didn't belong. She knew that look, not awe. Not gratitude, recognition. Her chest tightened. She finished stabilizing the soldier, but her mind wasn't on the patient anymore. That night, long after the attack quieted, Mia returned to her bunk. She reached for the broken watch. The cracked glass glinted under the dim light. She pressed it to her chest, her hands trembling. For years she had hidden. Now her secret was loose. Whispers spreading through the base like smoke. Cole knocked lightly at her door. They're going to ask more questions. High command knows now. She didn't answer. She stared at the watch, frozen at 2:17, whispering to the memory of 8 men long gone. The knock was harder this time. Mia opened the door. Two MPs stood stiff, weapons at their sides. Orders, ma'am. Commander wants you. Now. Cole appeared from the hallway, jaw tight. He nodded once at her, silent promise in his eyes. She followed the MPs through the dusty corridors, her boots echoing like drumbeats. Soldiers glanced at her as she passed, some with respect, some with suspicion. Inside the commander's office, Dr. Patel stood waiting. The colonel who had watched her last night was there too, arms crossed, gaze sharp. The commander spoke first. Mia, we've confirmed your background. Navy SEAL medical officer, classified assignments, high-value missions. His tone sharpened. Why did you hide it? Mia's throat tightened. The empty wallet lay in her pocket, heavy as stone. She touched it through the fabric as if it could shield her. I failed them, she whispered. The colonel leaned forward. You didn't fail. You survived. That makes you an asset. The word hit like a blade. Asset, not person. Not medic, asset. Her pulse quickened. She saw her old team in her mind. Not assets, brothers, family, gone. Patel's voice broke the silence, softer. Mia, your skills save lives, but hiding them risks more. We need you fully. The men out there need you. The colonel interrupted. We need her for special operations again. Mia froze. The room tilted. Her lungs struggled. No, she said firmly, her voice low but final. I won't go back. The colonel's eyes narrowed. You don't get to choose. Cole stepped forward, surprising everyone. With respect, sir, she does. She's proven herself here. She belongs where she chooses, not where command throws her. The commander raised a hand, silencing the room. His eyes lingered on Mia, then slowly. We won't force you. But you need to decide who you are, Mia, hiding or healing. The words clung to her long after the meeting. That night, she walked outside the base walls. The desert stretched before her. A dusty road glowed under the moonlight. She held the broken watch in one hand, the empty wallet in the other. Time and memory. Both broken. Both hers. The wind howled. Sand bit her skin. She thought of her fallen team, then of the soldier she saved yesterday, and the boy she comforted weeks ago. She whispered into the night. I couldn't save you, but maybe I can save them. Behind her, footsteps, Cole. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. They stood together in silence, facing the endless road. The desert was silent for a breath. Then the low rumble of engines broke it. Headlights cut across the dusty road, growing brighter, closer. Cole's hand went to his rifle. Convoy, not ours, Mia's chest tightened. She slipped the broken watch into her pocket, the cracked glass pressing against her palm. Her other hand clutched the empty wallet. 2 anchors, past and present. They sprinted back toward the base. Sirens screamed again. Soldiers rushed to the perimeter, weapons raised. Sand lifted in waves as the enemy trucks appeared from the night. Mortars fired. The ground shook. Bullets traced sparks across the wire. The trauma bay filled before the first minute passed. Mia ran inside, kit already open, hands already steady. There was no time to think about what she was hiding anymore. No time for guilt, only action. A soldier burst through the doors, throat torn open. Another dragged in, leg shredded. A third, unconscious, pulse fading. Mia's voice cut the chaos. Get him on the table, now! She worked faster than ever before. Clamp, stitch, clear airway, stabilize, bleed. Each patient became her only world for the seconds they were hers. Cole moved beside her, matching her pace, trusting her lead without question. But then it happened. An explosion rocked the far wall. The lights flickered. Ceiling dust fell like ash. A young private crashed onto the table, chest silent, face pale. Flatline. Mia froze. For a heartbeat, she was back under rubble. 8 men. Burning wreckage. Screams swallowed by fire. Her watch stopped at 2:17, her hand shook. The empty wallet slid from her pocket and fell open on the floor. For the first time, a photo slipped out. Half burnt. 8 faces. All smiling, she stared. Her ghost stared back. Cole's voice cut through. Mia, he's dying. And you're the only one who can stop it. Her lungs tightened, but then something shifted. She knelt, picked up the photo, pressed it to her chest. I'll never forget you, she whispered. But I won't fail them again. She rose. The hesitation burned away. Her hands moved with the speed of memory, the precision of training, the fire of purpose. She opened the private's chest, worked with surgical control, pulled life back from the edge of silence. The monitor beeped. Weak, then stronger, then steady. A ripple of relief passed through the room. Soldiers exhaled. Nurses blinked back tears. Cole's eyes never left her. Mia stepped back, chest heaving. She wiped her gloves, picked up the broken watch, and placed it on the table beside the soldier she had just saved. The cracked glass caught the light. Time had stopped once, but tonight it moved again. By dawn, the base was safe. The enemy pushed back. Survivors carried in, stabilized, treated. No one had been lost in the bay. Mia walked outside as the first light stretched over the horizon. The dusty road lay quiet again, endless and open. She held the photo from the wallet in one hand, the broken watch in the other. Cole came beside her. "You don't have to hide anymore. You turned your ghost into something stronger." She looked at him, eyes tired but alive. "I couldn't save them, but I can save others. That's enough." She slipped the photo back into the wallet. She set the broken watch to 2:18, 1 minute past the moment it had died years ago. A new time, a new life.